here we are at Confluence Brewing in Des Moines. A confluence, and I just looked this up. I did not know this until the ride over here. A confluence is when two rivers come together, but the rivers have to be of equal width.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's not just two rivers come together, they have to be about the same size. And that's something that goes on here in Des Moines, and we're not too far from where that's happening. I'm guessing that's where the name Confluence comes from?
That's right.
By the way, this is John Martin. He's the president and co-founder of Confluence Brewing Company. How did the name come about first? Because I'm fascinated by the name.
The name was definitely first, and Ken Broadhead, co-founder, and I were at, I think, the first Des Moines Oktoberfest, and standing there having a couple beers, and we were kind of searching for a name, and he said, what about Confluence?
That's a crazy, when I drink, I don't think of, because it's a $5 vocabulary.
Sure,
right?
Right.
This co-founder of yours is a pretty bright guy, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
How did you get into the brewing industry?
Home brewing. Just
started at home brewing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, started at home brewing. Jeff Burning from El Bait Shop said, I want to do this Jimmy Carter happy hour thing, and that was back in like 2008. And
Jimmy Carter happy hour.
Yeah.
Is that with free peanuts, or what is that?
No, that was actually free beer. It was homebrewers giving them a chance to exhibit their beers. So every Thursday night, a different homebrewer could bring in 5, 10, 20 gallons of beer and give away samples all evening. It had been a dream of mine for a long time, since I graduated college in '95, and so I homebrewed for 17 years with this dream of someday opening a brewery. Never really thought it would happen, and then in 2011, we got pretty serious about it. I just, some
you
things.
Guys are, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, what kind of volume are you cranking out right now?
Right now, last year we cranked out about 4,700 barrels.
Wow.
And this year our goal is 7,000, but we have capacity for over 10,000 right now.
I have to say, as somebody that does a lot of driving around the state of Iowa, your vans are everywhere.
Yeah.
Your guys
Thank
are
you.
delivering beer everywhere. And I know there's been some changes in as far as how you get the product to consumers.
Right.
It used to just be the bombers, right?
Yeah, well.
You're moving away from that?
Yeah, the 32-ounce Boston rounds. We're
Boston rounds? That's what those are called?
Growlers, howlers, whatever you want, squealers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It used to just be all growlers, but now you have cans on the market.
Right, yeah, so now we have cans and growlers in January.
Why did you make the decision to go to cans?
Well, I think we've always wanted to be in a can. Since we opened, I guess, about 4 years ago, the plan was to be in a can, and we just didn't execute on that. We had the equipment to fill 2 cans at once by hand and steam them one at a time, and I just kind of passed on that because our draft was consuming most of our beer. We started with about 2,500 barrels of capacity, and didn't have any money left after we got done with construction, and we wanted to just get some beer out to people, and so that was kind of our MO, was let's just do draft and let's self-distribute, and we grew the company that way.
How many of the beers that are here at Confluence now have been recipes that have been your...
The Farmer John's probably started in '08 as
Okay.
a home brewer, and it was one that I wanted to do for a long
Wait
time.
a minute. Are you the Farmer John?
My dad and my grandfather are Farmer John. I
It
grew
seems
up
to me
on a
it
farm, but
wouldn't have killed you to say, yes, I'm Farmer John.
well,
Give me that
I'm not going to
moment,
make a
but
beer after
okay.
myself.
Yeah, right. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? See, you need a bigger ego. Everyone says this about you. He's such a nice, humble guy. We need to give you a little bit more of an attitude, a little rough around the edges, John.
I had my own beer last year.
What was that called?
JME.
JME.
Yep. It was, Amarillo, Citra, and Simcoe.
Okay.
It was really good.
How many different styles do you make right now?
Right now, in a year, probably 35.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How hands-on are you as far as the brewing process?
I used to be a part of every batch, and
Right.
now I'm not hardly part of any batch. I've been working on construction and the expansion over the last few months, and so I just kind of removed myself from the brewing.
Here's the rumor I heard about you, and you can deny it, or you can claim it as your own. But I hear about you. The rumor is, John, that you are meticulous,
Yeah.
and that you're someone who takes sanitation to a degree that is almost bordering on ridiculous. Of course, sanitation is the most important thing in brewing, right?
Sure, it is.
But I've heard that you take it to a place that it never has gone before. Is that fair to say?
I don't know, because I never worked in a commercial brewery before, but I know that what we do has kept our beer clean, and
Right.
so I want to continue that. And
Knock on wood, everything.
Go the extra step,
So far, so good.
Yeah.
You measure.
That's right.
Measure twice and you cut once around here.
Yes.
I was wondering if there was a chance that maybe we could try some of it.
I was hoping you'd say that.
All right, maybe a flight of some sort.
Sure.
Or what do you have in mind?
You bet. A flight sounds great.
What should we be partaking in?
We should try a couple of the flagships. Probably the Farmer John's,
Farmer John,
the Capital Gold.
Capital Gold, which is
It's a golden lager.
okay.
Yeah, so Vienna malt and very very nice. Full-bodied lager.
All right, Mr. Clean Enough Yappin'. Let's get
Yeah.
that beer out here.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so I know this much. None of these beers are named directly after you,
No, none of them.
but maybe some family members. Maybe.
Yes.
Where do you want to get started here?
Farmer John's multi-grain ale.
Okay,
That's
so-
one of our year-round beers.
People rave about this. Multi-grain. What kind of grains am I about to enjoy here?
We have malted barley, malted wheat, malted rye, and then flaked oats, flaked corn, flaked barley, flaked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is good for me.
Oh yeah. Well,
This-
I can't make that claim, but
I'll go ahead and say it. This
doesn't-
is 9 out of 10 doctors would say more of this, please.
finish it with Saaz hops. It's got a little East Kent for bittering, so kind of the earthy.
What do you use for bittering?
East Kent Goldings.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next is the Capital Gold Lager. That's
Oh, now that is smooth. What's
yeah,
in here?
That's mostly Vienna malt.
That Vienna malt is really what gives it that smoothness.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, nice
Holy,
kind of rich,
that is
full-bodied.
silky. I feel like my tongue's wearing a silky negligee or
Nice.
something there.
And that's really.
John, that is a sexy beer right there.
Well, thank you.
I don't even know. Are we on late enough for this to be on? That's thumbs up. Okay, up next is
Hoppy Pale Lager.
Hoppy Pale. Now I'm assuming you put some hops in here. Yeah?
We
This
did,
isn't-
yeah.
This isn't something that's made by kangaroos.
So it's not an IPL. It's more of a IP Pale Ale. You know, it's a
IP Pale Ale.
whatever. You know,
I had that problem.
It's
once.
that
I
pale
got it taken
lager.
care of. So this is a.
It has Amarillo and Crystal hops. And this year we packed in a few more, so you get some nice.
So how often are you tweaking the recipes around here? Because
that's just
this
an
is
annual
different than
brew.
what it would have tasted like last year.
a little bit, a little more,
little bit.
more hops. But this year we also have a hop doser that we've incorporated into our regime, and so things change a little bit. Plus we have a centrifuge, and so you almost have to add a little more hops to get a little more out.
It's hoppy, but it's not too hoppy.
No, it's
You're
not
right
too
on that
bitter.
line of balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so nicely balanced.
So it's low bitterness, but we did a lot of like late end hops and dry hopping. So.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. And then finally, I'm imagining this is some sort of stout.
Yes, it's a dry Irish stout
Dry Irish stout. And it's called dry because.
because it's not wet.
Right. It's gonna be
No,
it's
it's-
dry because I'm about to pound this thing, and this glass is gonna be empty, friends.
I think the dry Irish stout gets its name because of the use of unmalted barley, so like flaked barley and
This is very different than, say, a giant, more familiar stout you might have around the middle of March.
Sure.
This is very different from that, and I mean that as a compliment.
Sure.
This is
Thank you.
not that I don't like that, but this is wow.
You're making me thirsty, man.
What else is going on here? You've got the.
We've got a lot of dark malt, so like not a ton of chocolate.
I mean,
but some roasted barley.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It doesn't have that sweetness.
Yeah,
It's just got. Oh,
and we use,
I'm glad this was the last one because this is my favorite.
even though you might not know it because it's such a dark beer, we use some really nice base malt like English Maris Otter, just to provide that richness. And
And it's dark enough that the lights we have are bending right into it, which I think
Nice.
is nice.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
The light
4
better.
for 4, great beers from light all the way to dark. Just really good balance, wonderful flavor, and Confluence is available basically everywhere, right?
yeah,
You can get it wherever.
not in the Quad Cities, unfortunately.
You only go as far east as Iowa City.
Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, for now.
Well, listen, come
now.
to Des Moines and drink the beer here at the brewery, or just make your way to Iowa City, get some and take it home. That's as well.
Yeah, eventually
Will
we'll make
you
it over
eventually
there.
be in the Quad
oh, yeah.
Cities?
Yeah, we're just trying to, opening a new market requires dedication. If we go over there, we want to do well. We want to serve that market well, and so we're just kind of waiting. We have about a 2.5 hour circle around Des Moines where we service, and
It's certainly worth the trip to Confluence here in Des Moines. Thanks again, John.
thank you.
Next on Brewed, the sign on the door says it all. A tap room that celebrates the flavors of the Hawkeye State.